My fiancé and I took one of those trungy couples' DNA tests for fun. The results just got a detective from a 20-year-old cold case knocking on my door. It started as a joke. We were at a friend's house and they were showing off their ancestry results. What if we're secretly third cousins? So we ordered a kit. We spit in the tubes, mailed them off, and forgot about it. 2 months later, the email arrived. I opened it expecting pie charts and a list of countries. Instead, a banner I've never seen before flashed across the top. Genetic match who-defied in law enforcement Tamales. Please contact Detective Miller. I thought it was a glitch, a weirdly targeted Adaba 2V links. Face went pale before I could ask. The doorbell rang. It was a man in a tired suit, Detective Miller. He didn't want to come in. He just stood on the porch holding a grainy photo of a young woman. Ma'am, he said, his voice gentle. We need to ask you about the disappearance of Ashley Ryan from 2005. Your DNA is a near-perfect match to hers. My blood ran cold. I had never heard that name in my life. I looked at the photo. The girl had my eyes, my smile. It was like looking at a ghost of myself. I told him he was mistaken. I was born in a different state. I had a birth certificate, a family. He just nodded, gave me his card, and said they would be in touch. The moment he left, the air in our apartment shifted. Who was usually my rock became distant. He was jumpy, constantly checking his phone. When I tried to talk about it, he'd just say, "It's a mistake, baby. They'll figure it out." But he wouldn't meet my eyes. The fear started to curdle into suspicion. Why was he acting so strange? I started digging. The case of Ashley Ryan was infamous in one specific place. She was a high school senior who vanished after a party in the woods. Never found, no body, no suspects. With enough evidence to charge, my online search led me to an old forum about the cold case. I scrolled through years of speculation until I found a class photo from 2005. My breath hitched. There was Ashley Ryan smiling, and standing a few feet away from her with a goofy teenage grin was Autumn's father. That night I confronted one. I laid my laptop on the kitchen table, the photo glowing on the screen. "Why didn't you tell me your dad knew her? Why are you acting like you are hiding something?" He finally broke. Tears streamed down his face as he slumped into a chair. "I didn't know what to do," he whispered. "My dad was a person of interest back then. They questioned him for weeks. He said he barely knew her, but the suspicion ruined his life in that town. We had to move a year later." I felt a wave of relief. It was his family's trauma, not a secret of his own. But then he kept talking. "When we matched on that dating app 3 years ago," he said, his voice cracking. "I saw your last name and where you were from. I looked you up. When I saw your photos when you looked just like her, watching me like her, my stomach dropped." "What are you saying?" "I thought I thought maybe you were related to her," he confessed. "I thought if I got to know you I could find out something, anything that would prove my dad had nothing to do with it." To finally clear his name, he looked up at me, his eyes pleading. "But then I fell in love with you, I swear. It stopped being about the case and it started being about us. I was just so scared that if you ever found out you would leave me." I just stared at him, the DNA results, the detective, the last 3 years of my life all clicking into place with a sickening snap. He didn't choose me, he chose a ghost. The next morning I called my mom. I asked her a question I never thought I'd have to ask. "Mom, did you have a sister?" There was a long silence on the other end of the line, and then a sob. "Her name was Ashley," she whispered. "She ran away as a teenager. We never knew what happened to her."